Warithudeen Mohammed, the president, Mosque Cares president, we're hosting his program today. Earlier today in Naperville, Zamir had a similar program just like this one, and he's very busy. He's based in New York, but he has three, and we're one. We're one in the middle, three programs in the Chicagoland area here. And to his right here, we have Brian Zakem of the Yehuda Beth Sholom here. He's this is a synagogue here in the south suburbs, I believe in Homewood, right? In Homewood, Illinois. This is a Reformed congregation, is a strong link in the Jewish life, located in the southern suburbs of Chicago, with rich traditions and open doors, and open doors. Brian works on dialogue and social justice programs, and has studied and has sustained activism, usually through Jewish interreligious and secular nonprofit affiliation. We met with him last week at Panera just to briefly introduce ourselves and get to know each other and some of our aspirations last week for a moment. And we all know Walter and Imam Alfred. He should be sitting up here. He's right here. He just got in town from New York, and we met Walter Ruby, who's to the far right here. Walter Ruby. Many of you recognize his face. He spoke at our last convention in the Homewood Convention Center, and he is he works with the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting racial harmony and strengthening intergroup relations. The foundation was formed to promote understanding and cooperation between and among ethnic groups, and to reduce tensions among diverse racial and ethnic communities. They are committed to the belief that direct dialogue between ethnic communities is the most effective path towards reconciliation. And you all see why this appealed to me. And I really look forward to hearing from our speakers here. I believe Walter is next here, so I'm going to pass this mic down.
Do I need it?
Oh, he has it. He has a mic. So this is Zamir's mic.
Okay.
And I'll be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Imam. It's a great honor for me, and some of you probably heard me at the last convention, as Imam Muhammad said, but I'll just repeat some of you. I hope I don't, repeating too much of what I said the last time, but just to give you a little bit of background on the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding, what we do, and how we kind of, brought some of this together. So the foundation actually was started back in 1989, so it's already more than 25 years old. And the idea at that time, it was founded by an Orthodox rabbi named Rabbi Mark Schneier. It was another gentleman, the late Joe Papp was with him at that time. But the idea was that they wanted to build relations between the Jewish community and minority communities, the African American community, Hispanic, Asian, because they were smart enough to see in 1990 that at some point America was going to become a majority country, so which we're much closer to today, obviously. And then in the 1990s, Rabbi Mark Schneier's partner became Russell Simmons, who many of you I'm sure have heard of. And so the rabbi is the president of the foundation, and Russell is the chairman. And it is the only rabbi rapper, I think, organization you'll ever see. A little bit of a, not only R&R, that's right. So basically, for the first, I started around 1992, whenever Russell came on, till about 2007, they really focused on black Jewish relations. That was kind of the bread and butter of the thing. And then they were concerned because there had been a lot of rifts between the Jewish and African American communities, which I think the foundation played some important role in helping to resolve and bring the two caucuses up on the hill, Capitol Hill, the Black Caucus, the Jewish Caucus, working much closer together. making sure that there were Martin Luther King days in synagogues, many things like that. That was actually before I came on. I came on in 2007, 2008, because at that point they decided, Russell and the rabbi decided they wanted to work also on Muslim-Jewish relations, which at that time was kind of non-existent, or it wasn't quite non-existent. There were a few little programs here and there, but nobody was like kind of uniting it, bringing it together, giving it a national and international focus. So that's kind of what we took on. And we had a kind of division of labor between the rabbi and myself, which was basically that he goes and meets the presidents and kings around the world, and I'm the grassroots guy, you know. I'm kind of the Johnny Appleseed of Muslim-Jewish relations. Go out there and sprinkle little seeds and see what comes up. And so basically I've been almost 10 years doing this, and one of the big things that I've done, that I've worked on, is something we call the season of twinning, like twins. And we've been doing that since 2008. And basically the idea is that during November and December, we try to facilitate, make happen as many Muslim-Jewish events as we possibly can in as many places around the world as we possibly can. So we kind of like, you know, encourage people, or as they say in Jewish, we kind of nudge people. Hey, why don't you do something? And that's kind of what we did. That's kind of what we do. And so then we see what we can get together, and we say, okay, well, this event is affiliated with the season of twinning. So we're claiming this event where you're all here today as part of the season of twinning. So we're very, very happy about that. So these events like take different forms, and the forms are decided by the people on the ground. We just, you know, because every situation is different, but we're basically trying to bring Muslims and Jews together to learn about each other, to learn about each other's faiths, to visit have the Muslims come visit the synagogues, the Jews go visit the masjids. And then do different projects together. I mean, it can have festive celebrations, is also a very nice thing, learn about each other's foods, different things, but also work together on, we work together on issues like political issues, like making sure that we stand together against Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. That's a big part of what we do. And then the other thing we do in a lot of cases is what we call social service events, and basically, what that's about is the idea, I mean, it's based on a premise that we should go out and help people in need together. And that's based on the premise that both faiths, and we don't necessarily know this about each other, but both faiths put a very high premium on helping those who are both in need. I know it says in the Quran that if you can do all the right prayers and all the right things, but if you go to bed full and the guy next door goes to bed hungry, then you haven't really fulfilled your mission. So that's a big part of what we did. And then that was what I said, okay, let's do different things. Let's feed the hungry, let's visit the sick, let's do health fairs, and we've done all of those things. We've cleaned up, in different cities, people going out and cleaning up lots, Habitat for Humanity. We've taken part in different things in different cities. But our best friend and partner in this regard has been Zamir Hassan, who you'll meet shortly. So I got to know him around 2009. And as Zamir said at the last stop, I said, I heard what he was doing. I basically heard that Zamir, who will give you his own story, but that he had been, ever since 2001, he had just dedicated himself full time to feeding the hungry. And he started by himself, and he started building up an organization in New Jersey. But he, somehow I met him. I guess I'd done it, because I used to be a journalist, right? So I did an article about him in one of the Jewish newspapers. And then, a year or two later, I said, I called him up. I said, now I'm doing this Muslim-Jewish work. Maybe we could do something together. And he said, well, I said, how do we do it? And he said, well, it's really easy. You bring the Jews, I'll bring the Muslims, and we'll go out there. Well, he brought the Muslims, but he also brought the hunger van, and he brought all the food. All I did is bring the Jews. So that was kind of easy for me. And that's, so we've done that together over a number of 6-7 years. That we've done that in New Jersey, in New York City, in Washington, D.C., LA, I think, a few other places, Chicago. And Chicago, we developed this program he'll tell you about, in Naperville and other places. And it's really, really been wonderful, because I think that in addition to the actual helping hungry and homeless people, it gives people a chance as they're standing on the line, they're standing there making sandwiches and, wearing their gloves, one Jew standing next to them, there's long tables, and, you start talking to each other and you find out all about each other, and that's what that's been about. And then the other partner here, who you'll meet in a minute, Brian Zakem, is with the this organization, the Southwest Interfaith Team. What's it called? Team? SWIFT. And he'll tell you about that. He has this group of synagogues, mosques, and churches in southwestern Chicago, and he's been a tremendous partner also. And I connected him with Zamir. They've started doing programming together, and that's fantastic. So just a couple of very quick points, just to let you know that the foundation, in terms of its work, so I've done the grassroots. The rabbis, as I said, done President's Kings. He's connected with many of the different Muslim organizations, ISNA, CARE, MPAC, and so forth. And we also, because we had this history of Black-Jewish relations, we've also worked very closely with many of the masjids in your network. The Masjid Muhammad in Washington, for example, and we worked with Alfred in New Jersey and W. Dean Sharif and folks in Detroit, Denver, Minneapolis, all these different African American mosques, the Atlanta Masjid, and many others that are a part of your network. So that's been very cool, and we really want to continue to strengthen that relationship. And any way that we can, help you, because we know the amazing work you're doing, and we know that you're confronting many of the issues in the urban centers, and we want to be of help in any other way we can. And so I want you to know that we're here for you. And finally, the last point, as I was saying to Imam Mohammed and others just a few minutes ago, is like I do feel that not to put too negative a light on things, but things I think this need to work together is all the more important after November 8th, and we really need to stand together. That we need to make sure that no community is victimized by being demonized, name-calling, discriminated against, or victimized by hate crimes, that if something bad happens to Muslims, Jews have got to be there with them, and hopefully Christians and others, but we're focusing on the Muslim-Jewish relationship and trying to make sure that that's there. So I'm hearing so many people in the last few weeks not only saying, but actually signing up, which I did myself a few days ago. There's this